Okay, let me introduce Congressman Carter really quickly. Um, uh, I'm so honored to introduce Congressman Carter. He is the smartest person that I've talked with in Congress when it comes to PBM issues. Um, ah, that's unfortunate. Um, he he's just been an incredible champion on this issue, and he's spoken with us before. He's super knowledgeable. He owned Carter's Pharmacy in Georgia for over 30 years. I know he has to go soon, so please welcome him.
Thank you very much. Well, good morning. Thank y'all very much for having me here today. I appreciate being here. I'll jump right into it. We are in session today. This is the last day of the week that we will be in session. So if you are anywhere in between a member of Congress and the airport after we take that final vote, please be careful. They will run slap over you, I can assure you. But we're going to be in next week. And next week, of course, we've got to get a budget done. We got to get a CR done. It will be a CR. Obviously, we're not going to be able to get 12 appropriation bills or however many we've got left. I guess we've already passed 4 out of the House, and the Senate hasn't passed any. That's just not going to happen. We're going to have a CR. That CR will be next week, and hopefully we're supposed to be in Monday through Thursday. I'm not naive enough to think that we're not going to be on Friday, but we'll see. But we've got to have it done by Friday. Friday is the 20th. The CR that we passed, as all of you know, our federal budget runs from October 1st to September 30th, and we have to have it, and we extended it from October 1st through December the 20th. We will probably extend it again through the middle of March, I would suspect, and that will be the CR for that, to give the new administration time to get their fingerprints on it, and that'll certainly be important. Now, next week is going to be a very important week. There has been negotiations on a healthcare package that would be included in the CR. I don't have the latest on that. I'm not privy to those negotiations, but I will tell you that there are 3 things that we have in that package that we are hoping we will have included. One of those is, of course, the Telehealth Modernization Act. As you all remember, telehealth became an integral part of our healthcare system during the pandemic, and there were some of the provisions that were relaxed, and some of those that were relaxed will expire at the end of this year, at the end of this calendar year, so they have to be extended. We have a bill that would extend them for 2 more years. Those flexibilities is very important. But most important, and I shouldn't say most important, but also as important, is the pay for, because we got to pay for it. The pay for that is delinking the price of prescription drugs for PBMs from the cost of the drug and making it to where it would only be a flat fee. That's going to save billions of dollars. Jack Ganter is my legislative aide for healthcare, and many of you know him. How much is it going to save? $200 million. That will be the pay for the telehealth extension, and that's very important. They want to use some of that also, I think, in other things. Obviously, Republicans, Democrats, you got to negotiate, and it won't take $200 million to be used only for the telehealth, but they want to use it for some other things as well. But that's just as important in my mind is the pay for as it is to extending the telehealth. All of us know we've got to have telehealth extended. That's extremely important. As I said, it's become an integral part of our healthcare system. So that's part of the package. That's one thing. Also, the lower cost, more transparency is in that package as well. If you will remember, we passed that out of the Energy and Commerce Committee unanimously, bipartisan, passed it out of the Ways and Means Committee, passed it out of the the Education and Labor Committee, passed out of the floor. It's been sitting over in the Senate, and nothing's been done to it. Hopefully, it will be added on as well. There are 2 provisions in that are very important to us that deal with PBMs. One is the Drug Price and Transparency in Medicaid Act, which will stop spread pricing in Medicaid, and that will save, Jack, how much does that save? That saves how much? $1 billion. right there, stopping spread pricing. That will save $1 billion. The other part of it is the PBM Accountability Act, which is nothing more really than just transparency. And we feel like that will have a big impact, because what it'll do, if employers, if plan sponsors can see the savings that these PBMs are getting, then they're going to insist that they be shared, and they're going to insist that they get a part of it. Right now, they don't know. They don't see it. And in those instances, in those rare instances where companies have been able to see it, they've demanded that they get part of that rebate. And that's what we're trying to achieve by that PBM accountability. So really, there's a possibility, albeit I don't know what to put the odds at, but there's a possibility we could get 3 significant things done next week. So hold your breath. I mean, I'm excited. I can't wait for next week to get here just to see what's going to happen. I hope that all 3 of those things, I'd take 1 out of 3. I mean, I'm not going to be greedy here. I just want us to get a win, and I want us to get a win. And, look, guys, we all know this is going to take a while. I mean, how do you eat an elephant? 1 bite at a time. We're not going to be able to change the healthcare system overnight, and it's going to take chipping away at it like this. But all 3 of these are significant, and I hope that we can at least get some of them passed next week with that CR. Now, we passed the NDAA this week. That was very important. We passed it yesterday. We voted on it yesterday and got it passed. And now it goes to the Senate. We've done that for, I think, 30-some odd years that we passed that NDAA. The NDAA is an interesting bill because it is obviously defense, but at the same time, it's also a Christmas tree we can light up and put a lot of riders on it, and that's what happened again this year. That was significant as well. Okay, so that gets us hopefully through next week, and hopefully we'll be home for Christmas. I hope that I'm not going to be spending Christmas in Rayburn. I will tell you, that's no place to spend Christmas. But hopefully we'll be home. Hopefully we'll get that done next week. Just as a side note, and I recognize that it's not in our world here, but in my world, also disaster relief is very important next week, and that's got to be a part of the CR as well. I have the honor and privilege of representing the state of Georgia, the coast of Georgia. As all of you know, we've been hit very hard by Hurricane Helene, by Tropical Storm Debbie, and we've had a lot of devastation in our state. We've got to have a disaster relief package included in that CR. We met with the speaker yesterday. He assured us that it would be included. We would not have to vote on a CR by itself without a disaster relief package, and I simply can't go home and explain to them, explain to the speaker and the leadership, and all of us did, that we can't go home without a disaster relief package, and that's just all there is to it. And they get it and they understand. So that's where we're at. Now we'll begin the 119th Congress. That'll start, of course. I think we get sworn in on that Friday. What is that, Friday the 3rd? And then the speaker is going to keep us up here on that Saturday. We're going to meet as conference that Saturday, and then we'll go back in on Monday, the 6th. So then we'll get started. Inauguration, as you all know, is the 20th. I thought that was an interesting question that was just asked here about the next administration. Quite frankly, I've been very happy with what has happened as far as the FTC study that's going on, with the 6B study that's going on with PBMs and the impact that they're having on independent retail pharmacies. That is ongoing. As you know, the interim report has come out. Now we're waiting on the final report to come out. Andrew Ferguson has been nominated as FTC chair. I think that's an excellent choice. Very excited about that and look forward to working with him. He voted in favor of that interim report, and I think that they're going to continue that on. That will be very, very important. This will be my 11th year up here. The first thing I did when I came up here in Washington, D.C. 10 years ago was to go to the FTC and ask them to look at the vertical integration that exists in the drug pricing chain, where the insurance company owns the PBM, that owns the group purchasing organization, that owns the pharmacy, that owns the doctor. You know who the largest employer of doctors in America is right now? United Healthcare. You know, and I mean, 9% of all physicians work for United Healthcare. Now, there's nothing wrong with working for United Healthcare, but I just find it amazing that an insurance company is the largest employer of physicians in America. And that's the kind of vertical integration that I experienced when I was practicing as a pharmacist. After all, I was the one who had to go to the counter. I had retail pharmacies. I also had another business, but I had retail pharmacies, and I was the one who had to go to the counter and tell the senior citizen how much their prescription was, and watch them make a decision between buying their medicine and buying their groceries. I was the one who had to go tell the mother how much the antibiotic was and watch her in tears as she was trying to figure out how to pay for it. And I set as my focus to do something about that. Now, on the Energy and Commerce Committee, we've got a new chair, Brett Guthrie from Kentucky. I just met with Brett this morning. Very excited about Brett, and we're going to miss Kathy McMorris Rogers, obviously. But I think Brett, as you all know, he's been chair of the Health Subcommittee. Met with him this morning about that position and about what we intend to do in the upcoming session, and he wants to make sure that we continue to focus on healthcare, and I think that'll be part of what he tries to set as his goal and as his focus with the committee as well. There's going to be a lot of energy, as you would imagine, with the new administration coming in. That's going to be one of their focuses, as it should be. It was one of the, I think, main issues in the campaign this year in the election. But at the same time, we're going to keep a focus on healthcare. And again, it's going to be interesting, as I was saying, that, what this administration is going to do, because not only do we have the FTC with the 6B study, but I will tell you that that we have met with the Assistant Attorney General in the Department of Justice, and they are looking at some of this consolidation as well. And I've been very encouraged to hear him say that he's hoping and expecting that will continue on with the next appointee to that position. So very excited about that as well. So a lot going on right now, a lot going on in healthcare, and buckle your seatbelt, because next session it's going to be even more, and as it should be. I also serve on the budget committee right now, and look, we had a hearing yesterday in the budget committee, and we were talking about Medicaid, Medicare. And I aired and I said the fastest growing line item in our budget right now is Medicaid and Medicare. And I was corrected. And unfortunately, the largest or the quickest growing and the fastest growing is the interest on our debt, if you can believe that. But nevertheless, number 2 is Medicaid and Medicare. And you would expect that with an aging population like we've got. But folks, I just got to tell you this, okay? And if you don't remember anything else I said today, I hope you'll remember this. We are never going to get healthcare costs under control until we have transparency, until we can see where the problem is. Now, look, the hospitals are coming at me, and you're trying to do away with our 340B program. And I'm not trying to do away with your 340B program, but I need to see where that money's going. I need to see what you're doing with it. Well, we're not getting paid enough over here. We're not getting paid. And I'm not questioning that. I don't doubt that. But I got to see it before I can fix it. Let me see it. But they don't want that. And you know as well as I do, and Larry Bouchon, unfortunately, is leaving and retiring, well-deserved. But at the same time, I'm going to take up that part of it too, the 340B. And that's something that we need to look at. It has grown exponentially. And to something that was never intended to be. And we need to address that. And I'm not trying to end it. They have QHCs. I know they need it. That's where it was intended to go to, and that's where it should go to. So, again, transparency. That's what we got to see. We've got to have this in order to address healthcare costs in our country. And if we don't get healthcare costs under control through competition, we're never going to get this done. So I'll be glad to, I don't know what we've got in time. 9:48?
One question.
Okay, question. Yes, ma'am.
I'll start, and then we'll go to the audience for one. You mentioned United Health. Obviously, there was that tragedy of the executive being assassinated.
Yes.
Has the reaction, the public reaction to that, what is your response? How have you thought about that? How have your peers thought about that? And has that changed any of the urgency around like you said, dealing with either the vertical integration or the power, or just people seemingly being fed up with
Right.
how their insurance works.
Right. Well, first of all, obviously, violence has no place in our society, and we all understand that. And our thoughts and prayers are with the family. This should have never happened, and we don't condone that at all. But at the same time, I have found, as you point out, the reaction of it to be quite interesting. I think it has exposed to a lot of us in Congress, to a lot of people. I already knew it. And I think, those of us in healthcare already knew the way that people felt about insurance companies. But I think that a lot of people in Congress who are seeing the reaction to this are saying, wow, boy, people do hate insurance companies, don't they? And yeah, they do, and with good reason. And so, gosh, I weigh my words carefully here, but in some ways it's been impactful and actually kind of helped us with it. And certainly, again, this should have never happened, and it has no place in our society. And my thoughts and prayers go out to that family. Do I? Oh, okay, thank you. Sorry.